Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and hang out with you. I'm going to throw the Bear Cave Lego the Scythe emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can throw those back at me, or you can just say hi. If you're not a subscriber, you can also just say hi, or throw someone else's emote in there, whatever. Shoutouts to Harold and Jam for being here in the chat. Thank you very much, both of you, for being here. Lexi Daisical subscribed hours ago, but Lexi Daisical is a great name, so I want to give you a shout out, Lexi Daisical. I don't think you're here right now, but hello, and shout out to you. Dude Wants His Rug is here. What's up? We're obviously, as always, not obviously, I meant as always, we're going to wait a few minutes, see if other people want to join us, get the vibe going, then we'll get to building. What do we got on the docket today? Well, we have done, you can't really see it too well because of, it being green, but we have done some of the waist here. We've done all of the upper body here. And then we're going to start, putting those things together. It's leg day, so we're going to build some legs on our kit. That should be fun. And then, we're going to talk about stuff. A thing I want to talk about is I want to hear from you about your favorite mech anime. Perhaps, that it's not Gundam. We talk about Gundam a lot. We don't really talk about things. So we'll talk about a few shows to kind of hit your fancy. And Dude Wants His Rug. It is leg day. We're going to be building some legs. Working on those. Working on those legs all the way up. All the way up to the waist. But yeah, we'll talk about a few things that, we'll talk about a few shows people like. I'll talk about in the second hour. I'm going to talk about anime because today was a great day for anime. I will say 3 out of the 4 episodes I watched today were fantastic and one was okay. And that's 4 shows that all came out today, this afternoon, in the evening in Japan. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. We're going to work on a fantastic kit. And yeah, we're going to chat about, some stuff. Like I said, anime stuff. We're going to talk about some mecha stuff, which is obviously anime, but, some other things as well. Some thoughts of stuff I'm going to work on. I'm going to tease a thing that I'm doing on the 13th. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to retweet my own tweet, my build tweet. I like to do that right before we start. The tweet that says, hey, I'm streaming, and then I'll do a retweet and say, okay, it's, let's get building or something. I think I'm probably going to just put let's get building. And then we'll get going. Thank you, everybody that is a subscriber. A reminder, if you use Twitch Prime, you got to manually renew that. And when you renew, even if you're already automatically renewing, make sure you hit that notification button so that it does a pop-up here and we can say thank you and throw up the emotes and thank you very much. If you're not currently a subscriber, that's okay. You don't have to be. It would be great if you were, but don't worry about it. But if you are just you just come here because you click on my Twitter or because you're searching for Gunpla, maybe give me a follow. Turn your notifications on so you know when I'm streaming. We did hit a milestone sometime during this week. I believe it was during the last stream on Thursday. I now have over 20,000 views, which is unbelievable, and thank you very much. I assume part of it was the fact that Thursday night started with a raid. Immediately we got raided by Will Smith, which was rad, and that was awesome. But yeah, we hit over 20,000 views, which I'm very pleased about. Got a lot of followers here, and I said always a great subscriber number. And the thing that people ask sometimes is hey, how come you haven't hit partner yet? And I mean, the truth is, I'm not a partner because I need to hit some stuff and to be able to apply for that. And I haven't hit the one thing I need. My hours, my hours streaming, my time streaming a month, that's fine. That's not an issue. The issue, let's go to the overhead and start building here. The issue I run into is my view numbers per stream are not averaging high enough for me to be able to then say, hey, I want to be a partner. And that's okay because I am in a unique position in that my subscriber number is way higher than my viewership. Usually, that's not, usually they're either pretty even because you have an incredibly tiny dedicated fan base tunes into everything you do and subscribes, and it's a high percentage of that. Or you got a lot of viewers and some of them subscribe to you. I have a lot of subscribers that don't watch live all the time, and that's rad, and I genuinely appreciate that very much. Also, plenty of people who gift, which is great as well. So now we can see in the overhead, because obviously my camera is using the green screen. Not great for this kit. We've got the head here. We've got the arms. We've got the shoulders that are going to swing around with the armor on there. We've got our slot there. The slot is for the sniper rifle to lock into, which is very nice. When the GN drive is activated, these pop up. The GN drive is in the back here. Now, because we have this GN drive, which is a thing in 00, it's this thing here that would light up if we had the LED, but we don't. It slides in the back. It powers the whole unit. It's the whole thing. We have a GN drive, but because there's a GN drive here, you can't have a traditional backpack that you would normally find on a kit like this. A mobile suit is going to have some sort of backpack. This kit doesn't have that backpack. Instead, it has a backpack that goes on the waist, which we've built some of here, and I like to refer to as butt rockets, because it's going to pop up there when the GN drive is activated and kind of do that there. But yeah, so we've done one of them. We're going to work on the other one and then attach that, and then we'll jump to the legs. It's a butt rocket. Let's be real, folks. It's a butt rocket. Butt rockets. It's not a backpack. Anyway, I hope you're doing well tonight on this Saturday. It is Saturday. Oh, decidedly is throwing the gauntlet down for the gong. It's gong time. So we're gonna hit this gong. We got to first of all, hello, and secondly, okay, it's gong time. Here we go. All right, our decorative gong has been activated. It's ready to go. And let's start. We'll start working on this here. We're gonna finish the other thing. I snipped these pieces out as kind of my warm up. Yeah, as I said, I hope you're all doing well out there, or as best you can, or just just doing whatevs, doing whatever you can. And my hat's off to all you out there, and I hope things are going as okay as they can. It's May. That's weird. That's weird. That's a weird thing to say. It's true. It is May. It's just a weird, it's May. I don't know what to do with that information, except to be like, all right. I guess it's May. I guess we're all gonna do our best. Is about all I can say about that. So we're building the other rocket here, rocket booster, the other butt rocket, as I've been calling it. So let's see. So, okay, I'll say this. I went outside today, and that was fine. I actually went outside yesterday and today. Yesterday, I went to my post office, which is one of the worst post offices ever. And it is the worst post office in New York City. That is my local post office. To go to any other post office, I would have to travel via subway, and I'm not doing that. So I went to my local post office, which, as I said, is terrible. They had a cop outside. They had a legit NYPD officer outside, and you could not enter without a mask on. Like, they literally were, and then also they had a limit of how many people could be inside the post office, which they did not do the last time I was there, which was last month. So that was a lot. It was like, okay, okay, and I can go in. Great, because I'm not even waiting in line. I've got my box ready to go. My packages is loaded up and ready for me. I just want to go and pay for postage and mail the package, because Billy Kumo, aka my friend Ian, who's a subscriber, won my monthly giveaway of a Lego set, and he chose for me to disassemble it. which was fun. It's fun to assemble Lego like that and just like get all the pieces apart. So I sent him that kit in the mail. So I had to go to the post office to do that. Yeah, and it was weird. It was a weird experience. Obviously, this all sucks and is bad, right? I'm not saying it's not bad, but I will say that it was one of the better experiences I've had at that post office where I like used the machine and paid for what I need and put my box, the box I was sending, in the thing, and it was fine. I got out of there fast. So it went well. It feels weird to say that, but it's true. It was a good enough experience at my terrible post office, so that's nice. And then I got pizza. You have to understand this about me, Pat Baer, the man. Pat Baer, the man. The person, the human that you know, is that my local pizza place shut down as soon as the stay-at-home started going out in New York. My local pizza place stays open till about midnight. So 3 or 4 times a week, I would get a slice or two from that pizza place. Late at night coming home from shows or from working or from meetings or, going to see people or whatever. I am not used to going weeks without pizza or a week without pizza or 5 days without pizza. So I got pizza yesterday. I got 2 slices that was like a snack, like lunch, basically a late lunch. And then I also got a chicken roll that I reheated for dinner. And that was my dinner last night, just to mix things up. And I'm so happy I did. There was a sign at the place I went to that said, no mask, no pizza, which I thought was a very good sign. And, it's like, hey, you got to let the people know. Hey, you don't got a mask, you don't get this pizza, which is good and fair. And I think, like, reasonable, because those people are putting themselves at risk. Yeah, and it was great. It was great. So that was yesterday, and then I just caught up on some stuff. Got some stuff ready for the month, the usual. Did some things, and then today I went grocery shopping because I needed groceries, and I didn't want to do the post office and the grocery store yesterday, so I did groceries today, and I'm stocked up for a while, which is good. Also, it is 70s, low 70s today, 70 degrees. It's the nicest it's been since this started. And there are a lot of motherfuckers out there. And you know me. You know that I am high on casual swearing. But I don't call people motherfuckers that often. I don't stoop to that level. It's rude. I'm not trying to be rude about stuff. But there are just some motherfuckers out there. Just because it's 70 degrees doesn't mean you can just do dumb shit like that. Come the fuck on. Wake the fuck up. Don't walk around with people you definitely don't live with and get real close to people laughing. There are parks here in New York which is people hanging out. And it's like, I don't fucking... I can't. I'm sorry. My apologies to everyone that lives in a state where they are reopening things on a wide scale, which is just unbelievable. And I'm sorry, and I hope that you can keep, your communities are going to be okay. I didn't mean to get so real 20 minutes into the stream, but like my folks live in South Carolina, and there's really no official order. There's a limit on public inhabitants, but like the beaches are reopening because the there were places that will, that, and I understand this, I get it, places that without major help will never recover. And I get that. But also, hello, Dirty. I'm ranting a little bit, and I apologize for that, but I am hot about it. South Carolina is like the area that my parents live in. They're planning on reopening hotels and encouraging tourism. And that doesn't make sense. It's one thing to be like, hey, we're going to open businesses and we're going to limit how many people can be in it, but like, I guess if you're like, yeah, hairdressers can reopen and like we're going to put limits on the mall, but like you can have this and department stores can reopen and hardware stores are going to, whatever. And like, okay, but like to actively say like, please come to our city. What? No. No. It doesn't make any sense and it's dangerous. And I hate it. Lastbrook says Texas just had like a soft launch. Yeah. And then like Florida, hey, here's the thing. Orlando has one of the highest, like it not one of the highest, but it's very high and underreported the amount of people that have been ill there. And Florida's just like, yeah, let's do it. And I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. It's it feels ill-advised, and it feels like more people are gonna. Harold says, "Don't get me started on Florida." Yeah, I know, Harold. I was trying to like talk about it, but not like get too much into it, because I know that it's a rough time. I don't know. And then it's like the thing where, well, if the theater I work at reopens, am I gonna go in? And I'm a team player. And I want to like work. I want to earn money. I can't keep doing this. Vague references to whatever. So, I would like to work, but what's going to happen? And those are conversations I have to have with my employer about, like, is this a thing that's going to happen? How long, are you, if they start saying like, oh, this is totally like Florida. So I would say this, like, I don't want to get too much into it, but beyond the normal things, there is talk that events where public gatherings are going to be okay. And that just doesn't make sense. I don't want to get too into it. That don't make no sense. I've said this, and I know that people think that that's bizarre. That I think that like conventions are going to come back. Yes, yeah, they're going to be fans at WWE events. Because also the thing where it's like, well, yeah, if you do an event at a 10,000 seat theater and or arena, and you put in 5,000, you sell 5,000 tickets. Okay, I guess you can operate like that. But if you're a smaller company, you can't book a 500 seat place and only sell 150 tickets. That's just not feasible. I've been paying very little attention over the past few months to anything outside of a 14 square feet. If it wasn't for work and streams on Twitch, I would be very oblivious to the world at large. Well, Dirty, I can appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, like, I have been paying a bunch of attention to things because, uh, you know, I'm part of a large community of people from all over the place. Uh, that's a sweet Gundam. It is working on Dynames. It's a fantastic kit that I'm really looking forward to working on. Uh, National Model Show is still on Texas for late June. Yeah, I mean, like, look, I don't think that PAX West is going to happen. They got to say that for insurance stuff. I've said that. I do not believe the PAX West will be happening. But I do believe that there will be a major convention because, like, now, will those be fully attended, full of everyone you know and love and you want to see? Will Artist Alley be full of people? Will it be bustling with as many people as you assume? No, I think that, like, beyond international travel and national travel, I think people are going to be, like, still worried about it. There is certainly, as I said, there are photos of the West Village today with a park full of people, like elbow to elbow. There are people who are going to be so excited about the idea of going out there and doing stuff that, like, I'm not going to go to a movie theater. I already don't like going to movie theaters. I already genuinely dislike, like, the movie going experience. I'm not gonna go to a movie theater. And, like, I love indie wrestling. I want to support indie wrestlers, but am I gonna go be sandwiched in on a very small venue in Brooklyn that's packed to the gills, try to turn a profit, to which I appreciate, to pay out all these wrestlers who haven't been working, which I respect and want them to do well? It's like, I don't think so. But then am I going to go to a comedy theater and work in a comedy theater for 30 people, spaced apart, clean in between each one, wear gloves the whole time, wear a mask the whole time I'm there, clean the mics between every show? I I haven't figured that part out yet. Um, you know, and I said this, like, I said it, and I don't. I'll go to PAX Unplugged probably in Philadelphia in December if there's a PAX Unplugged. I think I'll do that. I don't know if I will, but I think I will. Go for a day? Maybe? I don't know. Just because, look, I totally also, I get the want for normalcy. I get it. Like, like I said, New York Comic Con in October, Anime NYC in November. I'm currently scheduled to work for Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll, their exhibitor crew. I'm currently scheduled to to work for them. So as of right now, like, they haven't canceled them. I haven't heard, hey, we're not doing it. So I guess I'm going to work those. And then if I don't, I'll have to really think about that. Like, what that means. If I'm like, no, I guess I'm not going to do it. I don't know. It is a weird thing to be thinking about. these kind of events. But like, I've said that this is enough. Like, if PAX West happens, I'm not going to PAX West. Like, September, the first weekend of September feels the last end of August. Like, no, I'm not going to fly to Seattle from New York for a convention I very much like. Like, I also don't know how I would pull that off financially right now. So no, I think I'm gonna not do that. But people, like I don't know. Like, as I said, I would like the new normal again as well. I would like to see my friends and hang out, my friends at conventions where I get to see a lot of people I don't see otherwise. I would like to see friends that live in New York that I don't see. Uh, that would be cool. It is a strange time. Uh, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going to change the subject right now because I am bumming myself out, and that's not what I'm here for. Uh, I just for you, I can't speak for you, the audience. I can only speak for me, the person doing the stream. But streaming model kit building is a very good thing in my life that I very much enjoy, and at these particular times feels very cathartic and nice. So instead of just feeling awful in the moment, instead, hey, what's your favorite non-Gundam mech show? For me, I think it's the Big O. I think the Big O is like dope as hell, looks cool. I think that the mystery element of it, even when they started unraveling the mysteries as it went on, and I actually kind of lost interest a bit in the show as it kind of started solving its many mysteries. But it's still fucking great. Dude had a nice suit. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's an animation style looking like it's the Batman the Animated Series. It is a throwback. It's got a big old mystery, giant robots, just like so much good shit going on with it. Just a good vibe. I like Gurren Lagann a lot. Feel like there's an obvious answer. I'm not thinking of Slashbook. I think Gurren Lagann is. Look, Gurren Lagann is a great show. It is a wonderful mech story. I think like you can't go wrong with that. I think like the mecha in it is so fun to look at. I think that's a great choice. So I don't think it's my favorite, but we were talking about Dual last night because a friend of mine was posting photos from his Animerica 2000, and one of them was like a photo of that included like the hot things you should be psyched about coming to Toonami, and one of them was or like coming to anime, and one of them was Dual, and I started thinking about Dual. Now, if you haven't seen it, it's not great, but it is good. I think the mecha design is really fun. It is the creator of Tenchu Muyo basically made his version of Evangelion. So it is serious. It is far more serious than his other works, and also less horny than like Tenchu Muyo. And like there are less characters, and the characters are interesting, and there's like, I mean, there's women drawn to our main guy who's magically good at a thing. It is what it is. But I remember that show being like decent, like very capable and decent. Now, I was thinking about watching it. Uh, my only way to watch it right now, is to watch low quality uploads of the dub that was uploaded to YouTube, because nobody was showing it subtitled. It's not on any streaming service because it was 1999 or whatever. Um, and it appears to be like just not something you could just get. I'm sure there was a there was a VHS and DVD release, and I'm sure, I don't know, I shouldn't say I'm sure. I bet that the DVD has like a Japanese original audio with subtitles. I can't confirm that, but I believe that. I bet the VHS was dub only, because that's very apparent. That is very of the time. Um, but yeah, I think Dual was kind of cool. And then speaking of Dual, I could watch War on Geminar, which is in the Tenchi Muyo universe. Technically, Dual is in the Tenchi Muyo universe. It's in the distant past, apparently. But it's never really stated, and there's no hints. Whereas War on Geminar is 100% in the Tenchi universe, because it's Tenchi's half brother. It's an isekai, where it's still a harem show like Tenchi Muyo, but instead of I'm gonna pop this piece out because it doesn't seem to be lining up right. Instead of a bunch of alien ladies coming to our world, our Earth, and hanging out with Tenchi, in some sort of inverse isekai, where it's not the main character going to a different world, it's all the other characters going to a different world, which people have debated me about that, but whatever, that's a side conversation. War on Geminar is this Tenchi's half-brother ends up traveling to a different dimension, and there are mechs there, and they're like bioorganic style mechs, and he does a good job of getting good at using them. And it's a whole thing, because there's also, like I said, a bunch of ladies, and it's a whole thing, and it's very horny. Also, the episodes are like 44 minutes long, because the series was created for like a premium satellite company in Japan, like satellite TV. So it's like expensive to watch it, or it was at the time, and then of course it came out over here and wasn't expensive. So that's kind of interesting, because the pacing, I was always like, what's going on with the pacing of this episode? And they'll be like, oh, it's 44 minutes, that's why. Gunbuster was really good. I know people like Escaflowne a lot. Lashbrook, Escaflowne is awesome. That's a very good one. But yeah, if you in the chat, if you have any favorites, feel free to let me know. Let's see. Not enough mech shit in Gun Sword, which is a shame, because it's called Gun Sword, and I wanted it, and it's Gun X Sword, and the mech design of that was pretty neat. I will admit, I know nothing about the Full Metal Panic series. I know that the mechs, we've built one of the mechs from that show, and it was cool looking. Good morning to you. Welcome. So I know that people really like that. I just never got into it, and it never seemed like mechs were like, the mecha was the important part of that show, because it was mostly about like the dude pretending that he went to school. Budon says Full Metal Panic is good, highly recommend. Yeah, I mean, like, I know that there was a reboot of it, and that looks pretty cool, but it just didn't seem like the mech part was like the thing. In the same way that, like, what's the fucking, the anime about the guy that, Code Geass. Code Geass has some cool mech stuff in it, and cool mech design. And I think that's, like, kind of neat. But to me, it's a show with mechs in it. But that's more about a show about, like, magic brain powers. And deception and revenge. And then there's some mechs. Like, to me, that, like, I wouldn't necessarily call that, like, that's my favorite mecha show. You're like, oh, okay. All right, we are working on the legs here. We're going to start working on more of this. We'll cut out some pieces here. We got our feet are done. Now we can build up. We're mostly done. Uh, I get why you think that, but the mech plays a huge role in FMP. Okay, so yeah, I mean, to me, it was like the stuff I've seen in that show is mostly like a guy trying to protect someone by posing as a student, and then like it doesn't go great because he is not good at doing that. I didn't realize there was like a lot of mech stuff in there. It didn't feel like that was a big part of it. But if there is, then I'm wrong. And I'm fine with admitting that because why wouldn't I be? Wrong all the time. That's what happens when you make assumptions and stuff. But yeah, to me that show just felt like it was silly assassin in high school. The show. The mech stuff is good in it though. I'm trying to think of other mecha shows that are non-Gundam that I liked. If you've got any, you can feel free to mention them. We talked about, I think, like a lot of the big heavy ones. Trying to think if there's any other ones that like really get me going. Big O, Gurren Lagann. Those are definitely. I mentioned Dual, which is always interesting. Uh, Knights and Magic is pretty cool. I mean, it's an isekai. It's a mecha isekai, and I was psyched about that. I think the design ends up being pretty neat. I mean, that's kind of it. The show is about the mecha stuff, and it does have like Knights of the Round Table style like mecha designs, and that is stuff I'm into. So I like that one. That's it's a modern one. I am not watching Listeners at all. I stopped after the first episode. I stopped halfway through the second episode, and I'm definitely kind of glad. Hi, Ig, welcome. I'm definitely glad I skipped it because it just doesn't seem great. I've never really seen the actual Evangelion. I mean, damn. Look, Listeners is all right. Yeah, Lastbrook, I just can't deal with the names of things in that show. I just can't, like, I don't know. It's just too much. Every once in a while, you're just like, just name things real things. No, we haven't talked about, Raffion. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't, yeah. I don't really remember that show. I definitely watched some of it. I'm looking at the art of it because I'm like, I think I watched this show. But like, yeah, it's not really sticking out to me. Oh, that's right. It's definitely got an angel kind of vibe to it. That's pretty fun. Yeah, it doesn't that show doesn't stick out to me. Uh Listeners, all right. This week's episode featured largely on uh legally distinct prints. Yeah, and there's one about like that's just full of Nirvana references, right? Like literally something is called Teen Spirit, I think. I watched it when it first came out on DVD. I remember it being a bad Evangelion clone. I mean, like, look, there are a lot of bad Gundam clones, and there had to be. Like I said, Dual is a Evangelion clone or parody or attempted to do Evangelion. Like it's they were out there. Yeah, it's a performance enhancing drug. Yeah, listeners, I can't. Listeners, I can't with. I might end up watching it. Look, if more shows that I like start getting delays, because there's been a few of them, but they haven't been like an incessant amount. But like, if that happens, then I'm gonna start watching the episodes of stuff that came out that I didn't really check out. What was that? There was that weird one that came out pretty recently that had a lot of mechs in it. I can't remember. It was like it was witches and mechs, and it was fine. There was a big twist that was like pretty damn big, I'll say. Uh, and it was okay. But yeah, like people are gonna put out their weird like attempts at doing stuff like that. Vandred walked so Darling in the Franxx could run. Vandred. Vandred like had its drama moments, but it was so silly. It's just a silly show. Like, it's an inherently interesting premise. Not an interesting premise. A premise that they definitely explored and wanted to do more. They wanted to do something with that thing. Like, I don't know. There was fun character stuff in Vandred. Darling in the Franxx, I did not enjoy. Um, there was a point where I had a friend who really liked it that was like, okay, well, this thing happened. And I was like, that you are telling me a thing that happened in the story as if to appeal to me to get me to watch, but you have told me a thing that makes me definitely not want to watch it. So thank you. Uh, yeah, I just nah, I'm good. Uh, but I get it. I mean, there's stuff that just doesn't appeal to me, and then that show just didn't have anything that I was super into. The character design was kind of fun, but it was I just wasn't super into what that show had to offer. Uh, I don't know. I'm trying to think about other shows that I'm like, well, this was actually, yeah, this is the Mecha Jam, but I don't know. Literally, gonna just a reminder, folks, that if you're currently a subscriber and use your Twitch Prime coin, you gotta manually renew that. You don't have to, but it would be great if you did. Let's do. Let's just see. Let's just see if we can find some really good examples. Yeah. Just kind of like hitting stuff like, no, that's not what I want. Guilty Crown doesn't fit. There's mech suits in it, but it's not a mecha anime. No, don't tell me that. Um, uh, Infinite Stratos, I guess, is kind of cool. It's that their mech stuff is a lot of like exoskeleton style stuff. Uh, and I think I eventually just got sick of the dude that all these ladies want to get with part of the show. Like I liked some of it because the characters were pretty interesting. Uh, but eventually, I got kind of tired of Infinite Stratus. Just kind of didn't really hit me. Uh, what was the alien invasion one where the kid turned into a giant robot cat after being swallowed by the cat alien? Oh yeah, Guyver. I mean, Guyver's great. Yeah, the guy turns into a giant robot cat after being swallowed by a cat alien. Is that Planet something? Planet Within? Is that the one? I think that's. I think that's what maybe Planet With. Is that what we were talking about here? Yes, I think Planet With is one of them. I'm literally looking it up. That one was weird because it was like that show went places, and I was like kind of into it because it was playing with the whole idea of uh, like just the very idea that like maybe these heroes aren't actually heroes, and like you're playing with the villain, but they're essentially the villain, but maybe they aren't the villain. And I was like, I don't know, there was some interesting stuff there. Kind of liked it. Yeah, I'm like guy for fucking rules. Yeah, powered suit shit. That's some different stuff. All right, we'll put this on here. That was really the only thing I had planned to talk about today, y'all. I was going to talk about going outside and how some people are motherfuckers and need to relax. Not relax. They need to stop being so relaxed and start taking shit seriously. And I knew that I was going to talk about um, uh, just talk about some mech anime because we were talking about Dual and how that was like a cool show that I was just kind of thinking about. There is that weird thing where before now there is obviously a lot of stuff. There's always anime that doesn't get picked up, but a lot of stuff gets streamed or it ends up on streaming services, and you can kind of just watch it at your leisure. And some of it goes away, but most of it, like you can find it somewhere, or there's Blu-rays of it. But there's just like this era of stuff that didn't get licensed later because sometimes the companies that brought it out ended up going out of business. I think about a show like Karen, which is like a really cute show about of like this like reverse vampire, and it's just like a sweet show. I think it's called Karen. I might have even just gotten the name wrong, but like there are a few of those shows that just like they just like gatekeepers. Like I bet I bet no one has gatekeepers, which was like a pretty cool show. Uh, I bet if I look up gatekeepers anime, I'm just gonna find like links to Wikipedia. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, because like it came out in 2000. Oh, it was a video game. Yeah, it was a video game for PlayStation. And they made an anime based on it. That was like a totally fine anime. But like, I bet you can't just like. Why? I wonder if anyone like picked that up. Let me see. Let me go check out Anime News Network. They're usually pretty good about updating things. That's right. Gatekeepers 21 came out. Uh, yeah, I don't see anything about it being anywhere. But like there's always just like there's just stuff that, and then sometimes back catalog things kind of come out, but it is a weird time where things like there are just some shows that just you're never going to see again, and that is always kind of surprising to me. They're just like, yeah, this was on some obscure cable channel, or the company that put this out doesn't exist anymore. So how would you be able to watch them? Watch their videos. Uh, I've been wasting the past 45 minutes trying to get a rover unstuck in Space Engineers. I only passed the sunken cost point just now. Oh yeah, Dirty. Yeah, at this point it's about pride, right? You're gonna do it because like at this point you put so much effort into it. The sunken cost fallacy. That is worth it now. Oh, okay. Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens has been added to the list of anime that has been postponed. And Monster Strike the movie. All right. But yeah, Dirty. Just at this point, cut your losses. I know it doesn't feel like it. You should, but maybe you should. But yeah, if you have any show, do you have any shows, folks, that you're like? Yeah, this also could be like show. This could be non-anime. If there's like a TV show that you just like wish was on Hulu, that you're just like, I'm so annoyed that like this came out. Some of this came out on DVD, but it was towards like when people stopped buying DVDs because they started just like streaming, and so it like it's not out. I can't buy it. I have to buy like episodes per. I binged Upload yesterday. It was pretty decent. Oh, nice. Um, Oh, I complained a bunch about Funimation's browser interface being bad, which it is. One thing it does have is you can turn on or off marathon mode, which is kind of neat if you're like, if you don't want to watch a bunch of episodes in a row. You can just turn that off and it'll like end at the end of the episode. I actually thought that was kind of neat if you like want to go back. I found that to be like kind of helpful. All right, so we built one of these. We got to build the second one, so let's build the second one. Working on the legs here, but they're pretty symmetrical, it looks like. So we did one, and then we could do the other one. So we'll do that. But yeah, there are a few shows out there that I'm like, you just hit Google on it, and you're like, is this anywhere? Is this a thing I could watch? I've got a hankering. Oh, I can find random episodes of it on YouTube that someone put up? Okay. Oh, I can find... Oh, there's no torrent, but there's a mega upload of only the whole show. I don't know. I guess I did want to see it. Aaron Sorkin is trash fire, but I wish Sports Night was readily available. Yes, Lashbrook. Sports Night was pretty cool, and I say that as someone that does not particularly care too much about sports. But that show, the writing was cool, and the passion they had about sports, the passion they had for the games they covered, I thought was pretty neat. And I thought, yeah, so I did like that show. Mudon says, I really want to watch Metabots, but I don't like old dubs. Yeah, that was kind of the thing about wanting to watch Dual again, is I've only seen it dubbed, and I don't mind that dub. I mean, it's a late 90s dub. It's not terrible by any stretch, but like, I don't know. I kind of want to watch it subtitled. I've really gotten used to subtitles. Complete Space Ghost Coast to Coast. I know most of it is on the Adult Swim website, but I'd like to own it. Yeah, Lashbrook. That would be fun. Yeah, getting some Space Ghost. C2C. That would be pretty neat. Gotta put this on. I'm trying to think if there's like a TV show that I would. The completionist on me, I want Sequest to be streamable somewhere. Yeah, Sequest, that would be good. The completionist on me wants to watch, like, I want to go back and watch all of Team Knight Rider, which was not a good show, and I have spoken about on this stream before. And again, not a good show, but I would like to watch it, because it was a pretty okay nonsense show. I want to watch Jack of All Trades, Bruce Campbell's star turn, where his spin-off from the Xena Hercules didn't go anywhere, and instead he is a Scarlet Pimpernel type character, and apparently a lot of the people that wrote for that show didn't like it, which showed in some of the show. But I'd like to watch Jack of All Trades. That show was very good. Avatar being added to Netflix, but no Korra is a bummer. Lashbrook, that is a bummer. Korra is pretty damn rad. Is that on? Is that? I guess it wouldn't be. Yeah, I figured it was on something, but I guess it doesn't have to be. All right, so we put that parts on. We'll take a pause for the calls in a moment or two, but let's keep working on this. Working on our legs, putting some holographic parts onto kits, getting a sense of how this works out. I got that one mixed up with his Bounty Hunter TV show. Well, dirty, not to sound condescending, which I am now. The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. is his bounty hunter show, where a man from the future comes back in time to get some artifacts, and there's really weird sci-fi in it. That's The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. Jack of All Trades is his, because that was on Fox. Briscoe County Jr. was on Fox. And there was a Save Our Shows campaign, an SOS campaign, because people like through TV Guide, like telling them where they could write, tried to save that show because it kept getting bunched around timelines because it was probably very expensive and not super popular. Um, but yeah, that was Briscoe County Jr. And then he also had a show because Bruce Campbell had a reoccurring character in the Hercules and Xena Warrior Princess franchise. He had a character that was a thief, um, that had like a grappling hook thing. It was nonsense. And there was talk of spinning that off into its own thing, and that didn't happen. And instead, he got his own syndicated action show in the Action Block that was Jack of All Trades, which was just the Scarlet Pimpernel. He was kind of a playboy guy, and he had gotten wrapped up into a thing, millionaire playboy kind of gimmick, but he got wrapped up into a story and wanted to do the right thing, but he couldn't let people know who he was, so he created a superhero costume and an alter ego. And like I said, that's not a good TV show. That was a pretty okay TV show. There were far worse shows that were on that syndicated for syndication's sake. Like that show about the police force that has a futuristic car called Viper that was just basically a commercial for the Dodge Viper, the TV show. But, I'm only one man. I'm just a man. And if you show me a TV show about a car that does cool shit, I'm going to watch it. It's Knight Rider, Viper. It's a boat. I watched Thunder in Paradise. Thunder in Paradise is barely a television show. That barely counts as a program. But it had a very cool boat for no reason. And it's such a cool boat. Well, I watched Thunder in Paradise. So, of course I watched Thunder in Paradise. That show had a really cool boat. If you got a cool vehicle in your show. I watched Airwolf, and that helicopter's barely cool. It's mostly just a helicopter. I mean, it's a pretty cool helicopter. Don't get me wrong. I'm underplaying how cool that helicopter was, but it didn't need to be that cool. One of the best parts of Magnum PI is when his buddy shows up with his helicopter, and that's just a helicopter for tourism. Let's just check out these islands. Let's go on an island tour in this helicopter. But when the helicopter showed up, that was awesome. I'm a simple man. I don't need a lot. Mask is not a good cartoon. It is not quality. But Mask is also incredible. Because it's like, hey, check out these cool vehicles. Guess what? They can turn into other vehicles. We know. We're psyched too. And you're welcome. Oh, man. Like, Mask is just not. It's just not a good program. There's got to be a supercut online that's just all of the different... Yeah, I mean, what am I saying? Of course there is. There's a supercut that's just all of the vehicles transforming. And a supercut of all of the guys being called in for mission statements. Like mission things at the beginning. That supercut definitely exists. I don't know. I'm just a sucker for that stuff. Always have been. Probably always will be. Mask was just a show to sell toys, which I owned because they were cool. Yeah. Dino Riders isn't a good show, but the action figures were dinosaurs with, like, robotic parts on them and saddles. Like, yeah, okay. Yeah, alright. Yes, I'm buying this. Uh, well, yeah, I mean, look. First off, hi, John Robert. Second of all, at a certain point, all cartoons were to facilitate toys. Now, there were a couple cartoons out there that didn't have toy lines. Um, there was a Dino show where it was like uh, they were like sentient dinosaurs that were fighting each other, and that toy line got canceled. But they had finished the animation, so they already put it out there. Especially in the '80s, yes. Faceless Name agrees. Um, uh, so like the '80s stuff that was out there, but like it wasn't like sometimes they just didn't finish putting out there. E-Man one, hell yeah. Uh, but yeah, I mean obviously they were there to sell toys and action figures and vehicles and all that. But there were some that were like GI Joe, though nonsense, still had like a overarching plot and had like things that happened in the episodes and like battles and like people wrote episodes about that with like ideas of what these things could be. Mask always just seemed like, hey, we haven't used that vehicle in a while. I love the lasers instead of bullets in GI Joe. I mean, yeah, and they're different colored lasers, so you know who's shooting at who. Smart. All right, we're taking a pause for the cause. This is a brief stop. If you're new to the stream, hello. If you're not new to the stream, also hello. But this is a pause for the cause. First and foremost, if you're a subscriber, let's throw the Bear Cave, the link of the site, the emote in the chat. If you're a tier 1 or a tier 2 subscriber, throw those emotes in the chat. Let the people know. Thank you very much. If you're not a subscriber, consider becoming one. At the very least, hit the follow button so you know when I go live. I was about to say become a follower, and that's a terrible thing to say. Don't be a follower, but do follow the streams. But yeah, thank you everybody that is a subscriber that's here. I appreciate it very much. Folks that aren't subscribers, that's okay too. You can use your Twitch Prime coin. You can use Cash Money. You could give someone a sub. It's a new month, so there's no gift subs this month in May yet because it's only May 2nd. It's the only first stream in May. So you could become a subscriber, jump on that leaderboard. You could give bits or coins, jump on that leaderboard. That is a way to support the stream. I'm quickly going to run through some ways to support the stream. If you'd like to, you're under no obligation to do so. But if that's something you'd like to do, I would love it. We'll quickly go through that. Then we're going to talk about some current anime stuff because I would say 3 out of 4 episodes that I watched today were very fucking cool and very neat. And then there was one episode that it was just fine. I think I might be done with the series because I'm just kind of bored with it. Anyway, getting back into it. I have a Patreon. It's the 2nd of May. This is the best time to jump into my Patreon. I just posted today my schedule for streaming for the first half of the month, so you can go check that out. That'll be cool. There's different tiers instead of just like the $5 here. You could do $1, $3, $5, $10 there. Different rewards on my Patreon. Check it out if you're interested. Let's see. Donations. I have a lot of kits right now, but I'm going to need more because once I'm done building it, it's over. So if you would like to buy a kit, there's ways you can donate that I'll buy a kit with that money if you just want to do a donation. These are various ways to donate to the stream. You're under no obligation to do any of that. It's just nice if you want to, but you don't have to. Don't worry about it. I have a wish list on Amazon. It's got Lego stuff. It's got model kit stuff. If you want to buy something from there, it gets sent to me. I would make sure that it has Prime shipping probably because who knows how long it's going to take for some stuff to get there. I have a pretty good backlog, but I'm always like looking to expand stuff and work on new things. So if you want to buy something off this wish list, I'll build it on stream. That is a way to support the channel. You're obviously not obligated to do any of that, but it's pretty neat. to build stuff that you've bought off the wish list, and I appreciate it. Another way to support the stream, if that's something you wanted to do, which you don't have to, is to buy a gift card from USA Gundam Store. They're shipping out of Florida. USA Gundam Store has gift cards available that are digital. They will send it to your email, and then you can whisper me here on Twitch or send me a DM on Twitter and give me a code. Lashbrook did that, gave me a gift card, which I used, plus a little bit of my own money, to get this kit. So this kit is here because of Lashbrook's generosity. So that's another option if you're interested in that. No, you don't have to, but if you wanted to, you could. I got a Discord. You should definitely join my Discord. People post photos of stuff they're working on. I post photos of things I'm working on. People ask questions. There's some light discussion. It's a very breezy, very easy Discord. I check it several times a day, but it's not the most active one. But also, you're never going to get overwhelmed in that Discord. So that's kind of nice. I'm going to share a couple links to a couple videos of stuff I'm working on. Feel free to watch them. Feel free to skip them. We'll get back to building in just like a minute. I made a Pet Bear's Anime Club. It's a video series I do. I made a new episode this past Monday about shows to watch during the current times. Some of them are lovely slice of lifes that are just heartwarming, feel-good shows. One is a show about the human body, like fighting off disease, that's animated very well and is very cool. And then I put a couple shows that have like 80-something episodes. And like you can really get into them and like really lose yourself and marathon some shows if you're so inclined to doing that. It was pretty neat. And then Baering the List is an ongoing series I do every Wednesday. I put a new episode up where I use Tier Maker to rank things. I'm building the list and I'm bearing the list. And this week I ranked the members of the wrestling faction, The New Day. That was just, I had to think long and hard about that one. I mostly take these pretty seriously. They're for entertainment purposes, of course, but I mostly put thought into them. Occasionally, I'm just get a little silly with it. I think my one for next week is going to be mildly controversial within some circles, but who knows? It's mostly just for fun. All right, let's get into it. We've beat around the bush too long. It's time to talk about the anime episodes that came out since Thursday when I last streamed. So we're gonna keep working on our legs, but we are gonna talk about some anime. First off, Gal and Dino. This is the first week where the live action portion of the episode wasn't super weird. It ended a little odd, but it wasn't super weird. But before I get to that, Ig has just redeemed the gong. It's time for me to bang this gong, this decorative gong that my roommate left when he moved out, and now I have it. It's gong time. I banged that gong. Great. Thank you for using your channel points on a silly thing. Okay, so as I was saying, Gal and Dino. First part of the episode is the gal, our main gal, and her friend are singing karaoke. And that's very cute because the song they're singing is the theme song to Gal and Dino. Now, does that mean that the song is a well-known song in their world? Does it mean that Gal and Dino is a thing that happens? Okay, finally, this is famous. I couldn't get a picture or sound on just your channel. It works now. Oh, good. Face's name. Welcome. I'm glad it's working out for you. Sorry that was an issue. Twitch has been hit with a lot lately, just because of the currents. They're getting a lot of people watching streams. Hello. But yeah, so Gal and Dino. The first part of it is them doing karaoke, singing the theme song and karaoke and having a good time. Then it's because it's New Year's Eve. This is the New Year's Eve / New Year's episode. Dino is learning a little bit about what that means and what it means to celebrate New Year's. Is learning a little bit. There's the very fun, nice landlady is shown again. We haven't seen her in a bit, so there's a back and forth there. They do the countdown. It's very cute, very silly. Second part of the first half of the episode, so the second quarter, I guess. They visit a shrine. They're going to a real shrine in Japan. It's animated, but it is a real shrine. And then the screen freezes and goes black and white, and then in a circle, in a bubble, a real-life Shinto priest, an actual dude who is a Shinto priest, shows up and talks about the steps to washing your hands properly before you go and visit a shrine for New Year's. It is legit practical information, and then you see the dinosaur doing those steps. And this is a cartoon about a Giru, a fancy girl, like a makeup-loving party girl kind of thing. Maybe she's blonde, yeah. And her dinosaur friend, who just looks like a children's drawing of a dinosaur. And it was informative and weird as shit. And God damn it, I love this show so much. I fucking love Gal and Dino so fucking much. It's so good and weird. All right, and then the second half, right? So that's the end of that. They go visit the shrine. They get fortunes. Her friend tells him a lie about how the fortune he got is one of the best ones. And it's fine, and he has a good time. And it was a nice little episode. And then the live action portion started. Because if you haven't been watching Gal and Dino, which you should be, because as I said, it is wonderful. So we get to the point where we're in the live action part, and a car is driving out into the nature and to a campground. And the dinosaur gets out, and for a second there, I thought the dinosaur was driving a car. Turns out he wasn't. He just got a ride. And then he got a package of ramen noodles. And then this episode is just him at at a riverbed camping ground. And it's just Gal and Dino doing basically a laid-back camp episode. Like, he cooks food, and he hangs out, and he's, like, prepping stuff, and there's no Gal anywhere to be seen, but then he puts the cowboy hat on that he got from the real-life comedian that was in the last episode. So he puts that on at one point, and you're like, oh, okay. I didn't understand the deal with the steak. Yeah, he just was making a steak, cooking a steak. They went through the whole process of cooking a steak. That's why I think it was a laid-back camp reference, because they cook a steak in a skillet. You know, the grandpa. Rin's grandpa cooks that steak, and it's like so I really honestly think it's a laid-back camp reference. And then he like prepares half the steak and he puts it aside because that's what he would have shared with Gal. And there's a moment where like they imagine seeing the stars of them, and then she's like, "Hey, where's the dino?" And then he throws the book from like the third episode or whatever, like the mysterious book, the like basically Death Note book, in the fire. And I don't fucking know what that means. Like, he went camping just to burn this book. Now, I do not know if this means that he is resetting the universe by burning that book, or he's burning the book to make this the actual real reality, and so he won't jump anymore because he's tired of doing that. And also, this is a nonsense show made by wonderful weirdos, and I know I'm not making any sense if you're not watching Gal and Dino. I understand that I am making zero sense right now. But it's just weird, and watch it. My friend Ian was like, "Wait, there's a live action portion?" And I was like, because he doesn't watch the streams that often. And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, there's a live action portion. Watch it." I don't know. Yeah, Lastbrook, I don't know if there's like, I don't know what the book burning means. I don't know if it means that like they're gonna redo, like, I'm only up through episode 3, says Dirty. Well, the live action portion gets weirder and weirder last week's episode was just plain bizarre, and I couldn't understand what was happening in it. Um, I absolutely love Gallon Dino. It's so goddamn good. Yeah, and I always think that like the first half, that is always just like cute, and I think that um, the interstitials are hit and miss, but I think the interstitial of him being locked outside was pretty funny because I think that a lot of times the interstitial is just him being shocked for too long, and I'm not a huge fan of that part of it. But I think these interstitials this week were really funny, so I was a big fan of that. Um, but yeah, mostly it's just like a really weird show that I really like. And yeah, I would say that this week's live action was the least weird of all of them because it only got weird right at the very end, and I'm wondering like what is going to happen next. Uh, the only thing we haven't seen so far is in the opening animation or the opening like song, the video. There is definitely like men in black. They're definitely like some sort of agents, like in suits, and so we haven't seen them yet, and I assume we will. Uh, Anyway, Gallon Dino. It fucking rules. It's great. Saturday is like the best day for the shows I watch. Uh, Gallant Dino. Okay. No. Sorry, official's name. I'll put this back in here. These are the shows I'm going to be talking about. They're always in the show description on YouTube. If you're watching this after the fact, hi, people that watch on YouTube. But yeah, I always try to put the titles in there so people can copy and paste them. These are the titles as written on the websites that I am watching them, the streaming services I'm watching them on. So I use the whatever English name they came up with, which sometimes is just a full descriptor. Is sometimes also what they're called in Japanese. Because I believe that Gallon Dino, which is on Funimation, is just called Gallon Dino in the Japanese, I believe. Anyway, my next life as a villainess, all routes lead to doom. I love that. Okay, so this show is both a traditional, old school isekai. It's also a modern isekai. And it's also a, like, take on, no worries, you just have such enthusiasm that kind of bleeds when you don't know what it is. Yeah, I'm sure, yeah, I've been guilty of that before, so I'm trying to be clearer about that. But, so, my next life is a villainess. Like I said, it's every kind of isekai. It is the old school in that as a female lead, and it is her like interacting in a world that she doesn't necessarily fit in with, and is definitely confused as to why she's there. So that's very old school. Ooh, I got to take this apart. I have assembled this poorly, and I need to adjust it because I can see that it is. I'm bending these pieces. All right, I gotta disassemble some stuff here. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So my next life is a villainess. As I said, it's traditional isekai. It's also a modern isekai, in that it is taking place with inside a video game, which is very like, a lot of the hot takes on it are, oh, you wake up inside a game that you were playing. Now, most of those are MMOs, and most of those are not, and in this case, a dating game, a dating sim, a tome game. So that's unique. And the thing that I love the most is that even though she is in this fantasy world and like figuring out what it means to be a character in this story, she is still, throughout all of this, the 17-year-old girl that she was before she's still the otaku girl that she was before she showed up, and that she got reincarnated. And I really like that choice. I think that choice is really fun, that she's still just the same goofball. to the point where like, uh, so she's twice now. Okay. Let me back up. Let me back up a little bit. So, in the video game that she is now woken up in as the Villainess, the main villain of the game, it is a story of a young lady named Maria who is of common birth, but has very rare, very powerful um, light magic. She has the ability to use light magic, which is rare, and it's very rare for commoners to be able to do that. So she goes to this expensive magic school, uh, and once she's there, people judge her for being poor, and even though, but she's lovely and nice, and so men are drawn to her. And she runs the foul of this like person who is supposed to marry the queen, but or marry the future king, one of the princes, but is like a nasty person. Um, and the various characters in the game, there are different routes you can play because you're playing as this girl Maria. And so playing different games, you're trying to find love, and most of the endings are bad for Catriona, which is the girl who is the villainess. Uh, most of these stories end badly. So she gets murdered in some. She gets her best outcome is that she gets exiled. Uh, so, well, she knows that. So the whole story is the girl who is inhabiting Catriona is trying to stop all this stuff from happening. And part of it is that she's being nice to Maria instead of being the adversary, partially so that she doesn't draw the people around her into into like falling in love with her, which could lead to her doom. Um, the consequence of it is, and she is unaware of this, is that the person who was originally a very nasty, spoiled character that did bad things and people disliked, well, everybody's in love with her. And she has no clear understanding of that. She doesn't realize that the prince is definitely interested in marrying her when before it wasn't supposed to be something he was interested in. That his younger brother, who was a big adversary of hers, is also smitten with her. That her distant cousin, who is raised as her younger brother, is completely enthralled with her. There's a girl that she has very little to do with that ends up befriending Maria. Well, she makes friends with her first, and her brother, who is now enamored with her instead of Maria. Maria is enamored with her. There's another girl and her brother who is part of a storyline that she doesn't really remember because she didn't play that one through line. So they are now. So basically, it is a harem anime where the main character is totally unaware that all of the main characters in it are totally into her. And there's a couple things that are interesting to see what happens with that. One is like, where does it go? Where is the conflict, the series of events, or the conflict, the series of events? Like, is there a happy ending for her? Because they're deviating so much from the plot of the game. Then there's also like, there's the student council guy who's a minor character, but he's a minor character in the video game, but in the anime he seems more important. So that definitely throws a wrench in it. And like, I don't know. It's a very interesting take on it. I love the idea that all these characters are just genuinely in love with her. And she seems to not understand that at all. And I think that's very funny. But, I mean, there still could be conflict, right? Her younger brother, who is very possessive of her, because they're not really brother and sister, like, he's definitely at odds with the prince, who, in other instances, is definitely, like, in the game, like, is revealed to be secretly being, like, not a good dude. But maybe he is a good dude because of what happened in this game version of it. And it's just like, Oh, also in this episode, not only does she have a great encounter with Maria, she also helps Maria and her mother patch things up and have like a really touching, nice moment. And it's like, oh, just nice. It's just like, I don't know. It's a really clever, really fun isekai that I'm like super invested in. Oh, one of the things I really like is she does her internal monologue, like her internal dialogue is various versions of her personality, kind of like talking about what's going on and planning things out. And it's still the childhood version of her from when she first awoken in the game and realized, who she was and remembered her past memories. And I really like that that version of her hasn't aged. I think that's interesting. Um, yeah, overall, I just think it's like a really clever, cool show. I think it's a fun premise to play with. If you're like you've sworn off isekai and you're like, I can't do this anymore. I can't watch this genre. It just doesn't appeal to me. I think this one is worth checking out because I just think it's just so unique and fun that I would highly recommend it. And as I said, it is part of why, for me anyway, Saturday afternoons/evenings are my favorite day of the week as far as like anime stuff goes because it's got almost all my favorite shows. And I will be bummed if any of them get delays, which right now none of them have. So I don't know. And then we come to oh yeah, we've got Love is War, Kaguya-sama, Love is War. And this is a pretty good episode. We deal more with the student council thing. The student council is approaching. There is this huge thing where like the whole school thinks that maybe they're gonna date, and it's like, and they kind of leave it up in the air. And we almost get one of the characters confessing his love because it would be the right thing to do, and because he does care for her, but uh, he doesn't, because that's the whole thing of the show is that these two characters think that like admitting is gives up your power in the relationship, so they want the other one to do it, and they're stubborn because they've been doing this for almost an entire year. Hi, Mr. Bob. Welcome. Happy to have you here, my friend. So that's been really interesting to watch. The first part of it, actually, I don't love too much. It is the first story was like watching. I thought the first segment was astoundingly bad plan. Yes, Lashbrook. I mean, look, I do like the idea that they are really going full force on this thing of like, we be grilling. Well, enjoy that grilling, Mr. Bob. Heck yeah. No, I agree with you, Lashbrook. I think that like it felt like the desperation there and the competitiveness was really interesting, but the whole like her attempt to like you get the sense that even though she's much more confident in her abilities, the assistant, that if she was just herself, like a very capable maid person who's like from a working class family and like working very hard to achieve her goals, that like it's very clear she's not actually paying attention to what he's into because she would be pretty ideal someone for him to be interested in. And it also is undercut the point where he's like, actually, I'm interested in someone. Like, because it's such a weird thing, they do kind of gloss over that point where he basically admits that he's interested in someone, which was kind of fun. And then we're getting into this whole Then we get into this whole gossip thing, which I thought was really funny, because you also have Chica, who is completely unaware that that they have an audience and what the stakes are. I just thought that was very funny, that she just like has no concept of what's going on. And there's somebody running for student council president who wants to change things up. And that is the character we've been waiting to see, that we see in the opening animation, and we're going to get more of. And I don't think it's going to be that important. Uh, I mean, it is fun because it does keep our characters together and it does further it. It's not the anime as usual. It does throw a monkey wrench into the plot line. So I thought that was kind of fun. But yeah, I would say this was the weakest episode of the season so far because but also there were really big things that happened earlier. In like last episode was huge, had huge moments. So it is. It is kind of understated. I do understand why this one wasn't as high energy. I get that. But still good Chica moments, like her her being scouted to be the vice president, and they're like, "Do you know her? Do you know what she's into, or she's really like?" And then she realizing that she can't do it. Also, probably because it does look like the person running for student council president probably isn't going to win, and it's fine. Uh, so that was a good episode. And then I don't really have a lot to say about Ascendance of a Bookworm, other than I think I don't want to keep watching it. I gave up the last season on the show, and then went back to it and marathoned it and enjoyed the marathon of it. But I don't like watching it week to week because I don't think enough happens. So I think I might be done with that, which is a weird thing to say, except for the fact that, like, even if I stop watching that, I still have 3 other shows that come out on Friday, or that come out on Saturday, because none of my anime come out on Friday right now. But I still have 3 shows to watch on Saturday, so I think I might just be done with it for now, because I'm just not really enjoying it. But I did like the series. Right now, it is just not doing it for me, and that's I think that's okay to say. Like, that's always just kind of been my feeling on that. Like, I don't know, like, it's a fine enough show. It's just not really holding my attention from episode to episode. I kind of just, like, I don't know. I kind of just don't care about what's going on in it. So yeah, that's what I've been watching. I still haven't gone and watched the Millionaire Detective. I haven't checked that out yet. I do want to watch that. I will watch that probably at some point. I stopped watching that Princess Connect redive, and apparently there was a very funny character in the last episode, and that did make me think for a moment, well, maybe I'll go back to that, but I didn't because I really don't like it. It makes it very clear that now it seems like there's less and less of the main the main dude is actually not just in episodes, and that's kind of interesting. But yeah, I think I'm pretty caught up on the shows I want to watch, and then it's just kind of like, seeing what's going on out there. I am going to try my best to think of topics and things to talk about, as I am not really doing a lot these days. I will say this. We can talk about May. Let's talk about May. Hey, look, it's not going to be May. It is May. So we can talk about May. This coming, Monday, same stream as always, build stream. We're going to keep working on this. Obviously, we're finishing the legs up. We're working on the legs today. I don't know if we're going to finish it. We're going to get close to finishing it, and then we're going to move on to working on the weapons and the armor. We might finish that up on Monday. I don't know, but we're going to get pretty far in it. That's going to be fun. This coming Wednesday, I'm going to play a video game I haven't played before. I'm going to try to I might start it just to get through a little bit of it, but I'm going to be trying out Arcade Spirits. It is a romantic visual novel set in a futuristic arcade, in a world where arcades never went out of fashion and just grew and changed. That's the setting of this visual novel romantic thing. Friend of the stream, Jacob Burgess, did the voice casting for it and voice directing. Friend of the stream, Graham Stark, it does a voice in it apparently. I have not, I don't know exactly. I'm trying not to know what characters who plays who. But it's very appealing to me. It seems like a very cool show or a cool game. So I'm going to be putting that this coming Wednesday at 9 p.m. And then the following Tuesday, I'll be doing a bonus stream. Now, normally I do Wednesday bonus streams, but I'm going to be doing a Tuesday night bonus stream where I'll be doing Twitch Sings because I haven't done Twitch Sings in a hot minute, and I want to go back into that. I might end up doing another arcade sprite stream if it goes really well and people are interested in that. I might do that. But I also might just keep playing it, and I don't know. So we'll see. But that's a possibility because on the 13th, I don't think I can talk about details too much yet, except to say that I will be on someone else's a collective stream this on Wednesday the 13th. I will be in a video game competition. I guess I could say that. And I don't know when I can start talking about details for that. And so I'm gonna play I'm gonna be in a competitive stream on the 13th, and I'll have more details for that. So, but yeah, because I definitely want people to watch that stream, and I'll probably host it here. And that's going to be kind of bizarre because I am not a competitive gamer by any stretch of the imagination. So that's going to be real weird. Tossing a prompt out there. This is KZenny. Have you ever done anything for May Day? Is that a thing for you? It seems some have and haven't, even in the U.S. So May Day never seemed like to me anyway, is not a U.S. holiday that anyone really puts anything into. You're more likely to have U.S. citizens celebrate Cinco de Mayo poorly and without any understanding of what the actual holiday is, as just using it as an excuse to drink, more than you will have people celebrate May Day here in the States. That could just be my collective bias on that and not quite understanding. But yeah, that is... I think outside of like saying, there was something where it was like a couple years ago, it was like, hey, we're sharing with each other what our wages are, and solidarity, and I was like, oh, okay, but yeah, that to me it's not been a thing, and yeah, it could just be, I don't know, that's just not something we go for, but yeah, Cinco de Mayo, or as I like to think of it here in New York, kind of St. Patrick's Day, is just an odd drinking holiday here in the States that just seems completely unnecessary, with no real understanding of what the day is and what it means to the Mexican people. It mostly just an excuse for people to wear sombreros and drink irresponsibly, which is in many ways how Americans treat St. Patrick's Day, which is, poorly. All right, put that there. Ooh, that's cool. And this goes like this. So I hope that answered your question. Thank you for throwing out that prompt. I appreciate that. Yeah, if there's anything else people want to ask me about, feel free, and I will do my darndest to be able to answer those questions to the best of my ability. Let's see, what else do I have to say? So that I put my streaming schedule. You can find it at twitter.com/PatBaer. If you're not my Patreon, I posted on my Patreon as well. But yeah, that is the best place for people to find my schedule, is to look there. I mean, most of the time it's just the normal streaming, right? Is it a Monday? Thanks, I appreciate it. No problem. Thank you for asking. I appreciate you asking. Is it a Monday? Is it a Thursday? Is it a Saturday? Is it 9 p.m. Eastern? Well, then I'm model kit building. And especially now, that it would have to be something really weird for me to be like, oh, actually, no. Cool V1 is now following. Thank you, Cool V1, for the follow. Appreciate that. If anybody else out there has been watching the stream and isn't already following me, please do enter your notifications on so you know when I go live and you can catch a stream. As I said, I often will do a bonus Wednesday stream. This coming Wednesday, I will be playing Arcade Spirits, which I have not checked out before, as I said. But just the premise is so strong, and I know people who worked on it. So I'm looking forward to being able to support them because it's fun to support friends. And it was like $20. And I was just like, yeah. I rarely buy a game just based on the premise. I know on Steam there's a demo. I don't know if there's a demo available everywhere, but I know there's a demo on Steam. So maybe take a look at that ahead of the stream if you're interested, but check it out on Wednesday. But yeah, the normal stream time is going to happen. We're going to keep working on this here. We're going to finish up the legs, and we're going to do an assembly of the main body. We are almost ready to assemble this completely. And then it will just be, the next stream will be weapons and armor. We still have to build the sniper rifle, the pistols, the dual pistols, the holsters for the pistols, and then the armor non-wings that are basically wings, but they're not wings, but they're wings. So we do have a little bit left to put on here. So we'll do that. Yeah, if anybody else has anything they want to ask me about, feel free. I was happy today that somebody in the games press was asking about Gunpla and was like, I don't really know. I don't know how to. I think he said I don't know how to pronounce Gunpla. But I'm interested, and it was fun to be like, okay, well here's the thing. So here's the thing I actually noticed. I knew this, but I kind of forgot. I always talk about how for people getting started, my opinion is the sweet spot is the 1/100 scale high grade. Well, they don't really make 1/100 high grades much anymore, do they? They make full mechanics for the Iron Blood Orphans line. They make master grades, certainly. They make the RE100s. They make, and of course, very popular last few years has been all of the high grades in the 144 scale. But they don't make a lot of 1/100 high grades, and that, as I said, is the sweet spot. So I guess now I'm recommending people get the full mechanics as maybe a starter kit. Because also a modern kit, I definitely recommend people buy kind of the newer kits. And there are some RE100 kits that are very simple and easy to put together, but some of them are weird. They are RE100 kits because they are oddly designed. They're not RE100 kits because they are sensical. So yeah, that's been an interesting thing to be like, oh yeah, what do I say people start? I guess I say 144 scale high grades. I guess that's where people should start. I wish they made more big high grades because I think they're a great place to learn. But I don't know. The other thing that as people ask me, and I'm always happy to give my opinion on it. If you have a favorite Gundam show and you have a favorite Gundam, you build that because you like it. You already know something about it. I think that's very helpful. But if you don't know anything about it, then you just, pick something that seems cool. Like I have not run out of all of the kits that I want to build that are from things that I know. Like there's still some that I'm like, oh yeah, I still have to build that, or that's new and I want to build that. But sometimes I'll just be like, I don't really remember Gundam Seed, but the Blitz Gundam looks cool. I'll build that, like that kind of thing. Like that still happens. All right, so we got our GN drive and our butt rockets on the back here. We've got our missile launchers here, our waste missile launchers that pop out, which I think are rad. We've got our GN drive here that pops open for the cockpit. Oh, I put it there. Pops open for the cockpit. As I said, we got these rocket launcher things here. For the GN drive thing, these pop up when you want them to. Push them down for now. We still have to build the armor, but we are final assembly here on the body. We are body complete. Oh, also, I haven't mentioned this before. So this thing can snipe well. It's got a lot of movement in its legs, which is rad. Oops, as the butt rocket pops off. But it also, this head, like, moves forward and, like, it's got a lot of mobility on the head so that you can pose it well. Which I guess I can show like that. It's got like, the head pops out. And I thought that's pretty neat. Very strange. All right, so that's where we're going to leave off for today. Today's stream. I'm actually going to pop the, I'm going to take off the rocket portion on the back here. This can pop off like this, just so that it lays a little more flat for photographs. And then we will work on the armor and the weapons on our next stream. So what do we do at the end of every Pat Baer Build with Baer workshop? Well, we raid another stream. Are they build streams? Very rarely. Very rarely do we do that. But I do try to find someone who is streaming, and the goal is to find someone for you to keep watching, tonight on a Saturday night, and check out. Maybe it's somebody you know, maybe it's someone you don't know, and I'm introducing someone cool. Sometimes they're doing something very chill. Sometimes they're doing something very interesting. We are good. All right. We're going to go. No, we're not going to do that. I can't subjugate you to that. All right, fine. We're going to raid Dan Reichert. Dan Reichert is doing 50 turns of Mario Party against AI. He's the only human player, and everyone else is AI. And I don't know. I kind of want to see what's up with that. So we're going to go raid Dan. You can come along if you like Dan Reichert. He's a guy. But we're going to go give him a raid. Again, my next stream is going to be on Monday, this coming Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We will work on more stuff with this kit. Dan's eating pizza right now, so we're going to go raid that, which should be fun. And I'll see you on the next Build with Baer workshop. I hope you had a great time, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.